everybody. So for today's practice, we're going to be working on our legs. Specifically today, from our feet and our toes up to our knees and our hamstrings, possibly a little bit into our thighs. A lot of yoga really does stretch out the hips on its own, so we'll probably address that a little bit too. But particularly really stretching out this portion from our knees to our feet. So I'll ask you today to have your block and your blanket. Definitely need the blanket so that we don't hurt our knees any further. So we'll start off today with just a little bit of warming up. So I'll ask you to first just kind of place your blanket so that you can comfortably come into your cat and cow, your tabletop position first, with your knees supported by your blanket. So taking a few deep rounds of our cat and cow, just really warming up the spine. We're not going to spend too much time here, but just allowing ourselves to really open up into our low back, our mid back, and our shoulders. So if you're not familiar with cat and cow, as you're inhaling, you're lifting your chest, lifting your tailbone, and as you're exhaling, we're doing the opposite, tucking the chin to the chest, tucking the tailbone under, and maybe even hugging the belly in. So let's take 2 more breaths like that. And then very slowly make your way back to center. So find a nice neutral spine. So notice this tuck that I just did to my tailbone here, a little bit of pulling in through my belly, and I'm going to kick my right toes back. So your wrists and your shoulders start off in line, and we're just going to rock forward and back. So you're first putting weight into your hands, and then rocking weight back into your foot. So pressing back as much as you can without force into the foot, so that we can stretch out into the hamstrings. So hopefully feeling this stretch right in this space behind your knee and a little bit into the calf. Good, take it to center. And from here, we're going to kick this right foot out to the right side. Bring the outside edge of your right foot down, and you can stay right here if this feels like enough stretch for you. You might also try walking your fingertips forward. Just keep your hips and your knees stacked on that left leg. And come on back to center, walk the hands in. And now we're going to take that foot all the way over to the left side and bring the gaze over that left shoulder towards the foot and press into that right heel. Good, then bring it back to center. So same thing, left side, we're going to kick the toes back and do that gentle rocking forward and back. So sending some breath into that left hamstring, that place right behind your left knee, into your calf, maybe even down into the ankle. And then come to center, we're going to kick the left heel out to the left side, ground down through the outer edge of that left foot. And again, you can stay here, or you can walk your fingertips forward. Good, so still keeping your knee, your right knee and your right hip in line. Walk the hands back to center. And kick that left heel all the way over to the right side. Swing it over, bring the gaze towards the foot. Good, bring it on back to center. And this is where our block might come in handy. So we're going to curl our toes under and sit a little bit back towards the heels and just kind of reach back, spread your toes out a touch wider, and gently shift into your seat. So eventually your butt and your heels might meet. If that's not happening, the block can go right underneath our butt, give us a little more height. If you feel like you can go further, start to walk your hands in towards your knees. Pause when you need to. You might Walk all the way up to the thighs with the hands, but don't force it. We don't want to hurt these little bones and tendons and joints in our toes. Good. Walk back over to your hands and your knees. Lift the feet, maybe roll out your ankles. Good, then going in the opposite direction. So we're going to flatten the feet now. Separate the feet a little wider, bring the knees a little closer together. Take your block and go to sit back between the feet. And we sit up nice and tall on our block first. If you feel that you don't need the block, you can always move it to the side. Finding our hero's pose. Feeling that deep stretch, not just into the front of our ankles, but also into the front part of our knee. So this is a really great one. And this is kind of area that we forget to stretch out. A lot of my nieces and nephews just sit like this. So then if you feel that you could go further here, we're going to take the hands right alongside the hips. Lift your right knee. Place it down. Lift your left knee. Place it down. Come back over to your hands and knees, and one more time giving a nice roll or shake out to your feet. Whew. Good, so digging the toes under, walk our hands just a touch further forward and find downward facing dog. So lifting the seat, rolling over the toes. Remember your feet can start at hips distance. And we give our legs a nice pedal out. So really deeply bend one knee and press through the opposite heel and then switch. And then come on back to center. So press back through your heels. Remember, it's okay to keep your knees softly bent here. Relax your neck. Get grounded through your left heel and start to flex the right foot and lift. So imagine that you're drawing a straight line behind you. We don't have to lift very far, and we want our hips and our shoulders to be in line with each other. You take that foot and step it forward between the hands. So if you need to, you kind of scooch the foot forward with your hand and bring your back knee down. So keeping the toes curled under at first, you're just going to shift your weight forward a little bit. Make sure you're not right on your back kneecap. And then flatten out the back foot. Interlace and press off of the front thigh with your fingers. Good, sink in. If you're dealing with a lot of knee pain here or knee injury, make sure you've got your front knee and your ankle stacked directly in line with each other. If you're working on flexibility and you're free of injury or it doesn't hurt, hands down, scoot your foot a little closer and then bend again. As long as that front heel is on the ground, then you're good. Good, bring the hands down to frame the foot, and we'll step back to downward facing dog. Same thing with the left foot, so you're getting grounded through the right heel, and draw that straight line behind you with the left heel. Flex through the foot, reach it up. The shoulders are in line with each other, hips are in line with each other. Take the foot, step it between the hands. Help it if you need to. Bring your right knee down. So same thing, settle into the hips for a moment, come up to your fingertips. Shift your weight forward. And then flatten the foot, interlace and press off of your front thigh. So same thing, play around with the placement of that front foot. Knee pain, we stay in line, knee and ankle. If we want to stretch further, we scooch the foot a little closer to our body and then bend deeper. hands come down, frame the foot, downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Good, let's walk the feet forward to meet the hands. Take little baby steps and feel the stretch as you walk your way up. And find a half lift. So whether you're on your fingertips or pressing into your shins, doesn't matter. Lengthen out through your heart, lengthen through the crown of your head. Soften your knees a bit. And then slide the hands down to find your fold. Rock the weight forward into the balls of your feet a bit. Relax your upper body. Head and neck are included. Half lift again, look forward. And sink back in, forward fold. Good, let's step the left foot back now. And we're gonna stay up on our back toes. Take a moment here, maybe a little rock forward and back. Good, bring your back knee down again. Find your lunge. See if you can support that back knee with your blanket. And now from here, we're gonna scooch our weight backwards and pop up onto the front heel. So our back hip and our knee are gonna be in line with each other. If you need a little extra support here, you can come up onto 2 blocks on your hands. Flex that front foot. Make sure you're not hyperextending your right knee. Relax the upper body, fold. So there's 2 options here. You can stay right where you are if this is a deep enough stretch. You might try going to sit back towards your left heel with those toes curled under. Really stretch that foot out again. Nice. So then walk your fingertips forward again. We're going to make a box shape with our legs and open up to a kneeling warrior 2. Right fingertips are forward, left fingertips are back. Good, holding this kneeling 2 for a moment. Really pull that knee out towards the right edge of your mat. Tuck your tailbone under. Good, now from here we're going to take the left toes to kick back towards the right edge of your mat. And then extend that right leg out and turn slightly. So we're almost doing like a kneeling triangle pose. The outside edge of your right foot is down. Take a deep breath here. Bring your right hand down and reach your left fingertips over to the right side. Good, feel the deep stretch now. I feel this right in my right butt cheek and all the way down into my hamstring. Good, come back to center, those warrior 2 arms, and then bring yourself back to that kneeling warrior 2. So kind of scooch that foot in a little bit and take a breath here. Reach your right hand forward and bring it down to the inside of that right foot. Good, take one more breath. Good, we're gonna come around to frame that front foot so you can pivot those left toes back again, right hand to the outside edge, and bring yourself back to downward dog. Good, pedal it out. Let's step our left foot between the hands now and find that low lunge on this side. So lengthening through the chest, you're staying up on your back toes, pressing through that right heel. Good, bring your right knee down and press into that nice deep stretch. So pressing into the front foot to shift your weight back, popping up onto that left heel. So your right hip and knee are in line. We inhale for length and exhale, fold. Keep those left toes pulling back towards your face. If you tried it on the other side, maybe you go to sit your butt back towards your right heel. So obviously your left foot's going to slide back a little bit. And then let's lean ourselves forward to come into that box shape. So if you need to, use your left hand, kind of bend that left knee and come up to the kneeling warrior two. So holding this for a moment. And again, in warrior two and even kneeling, that front knee wants to turn in. We're not going to let it. So keep pressing that knee towards the left edge of your mat and then reaching. So same thing, we're going to take those right toes and turn them to the left edge of your mat. Straighten that left leg and turn the toes. So we're in that same stretch on the left side now. So the toes are kind of in line with the front of your mat. Let's take a deep breath in. And exhale, release your left hand down, arc over through the right fingertips. Feel the stretch. Ugh. Come on back to center, that kneeling, and then let's bend the knee and turn the toes forward again. Left hand comes down to the inside of your foot, right fingertips rise up. In any of these poses, if your neck hurts, relax your neck. Looking down in this one in particular helps open this top shoulder a little bit more. Then we're going to come down to frame the foot so you can turn your right toes back towards the back of the mat again and step back to downward facing dog. Good pedal. And then let's walk our way up again, finding that half lift and folding. Let's walk the feet out to about hips distance now. And take a really deep bend in your knees to start. Take your left hand to make a triangle with this space between your feet. And right fingertips reach up. So eventually you go to straighten out your right leg. It might not be today. And then switch, bend the knees deeply again. Right hand replaces left. Left fingertips rise up. Good, come on back down, forward fold, wide legs. Good, now from here you have the choice to keep the feet wide or bring the feet closer together. We're going to rock ourselves up onto the balls of our feet. You can put your weight in your hands here as you start to bend and find a toe stand. So this might be your toe stand today, and that's awesome. You might bring your butt all the way down to your heels. We don't want to force it. Eventually, the hands release and we bring them to heart center. Good, make your way all the way down to your butt. Use your hands as needed and kick the feet out and give your legs a nice shake. And some nice loose fists. Good, now from here you can move your blanket if you don't need it. And let's take the feet out nice and wide. So I like to turn myself sideways on my mat for this. So I've got like this sticky mat material under my feet. Let's flex the feet towards the face and give ourselves a little shift so that we can sit up nice and tall. So if you can't sit up nice and tall here, you can always sit on a blanket and that gives you a little extra height. Let's flex the feet towards the face. Lift up nice and tall through the crown of your head. Doesn't matter if you go any further than this. Point your knees towards the ceiling. Keep the knees from rolling in. If you do feel you can go further, keeping the knees pointed up, you start to walk with your exhale, with your breath. Eventually your chin comes to your chest and we relax. Good. Keep the feet flexed. Bend the knees deeper if you need to. Walk your fingertips in slowly. And pause here. Good. Guide your legs back together, straight out in front of you. Take another little shift. Get your butt out from under you. Flex your feet towards your face. Inhale, reach all the way up through the hands. Exhale, fold forward. Go to grab the outer edges of your feet, not your toes. If you can't reach, bend your knees even deeper. If you still can't reach, you take a strap around the balls of your feet, or we go behind our knees. Bring your chin to your chest. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. Good. Connect really deeply to your breath. Don't worry about what's on the screen. Final 2 big breaths here. Reach forward and rise. Release your hands down and come to cross the legs.